Hello and welcome to biology class. We are studying topic kingdom Animalia, and few videos back we have started studying classification of superclass Tetrapoda into different classes. So Tetrapoda is divided into 4 classes on the basis of what kind of scheme they possesses, and among the 4 classes, 2 classes we have already studied. We have already studied about class Amphibia, its examples and detailed characteristics. We have also studied about class Reptilia. And in today's video, we are going to study about class Aves, that is 3rd class of superclass Tetrapoda. So let us begin with Aves. So class Aves, as I told you, it is a 3rd and very important class among Tetrapoda, and it includes all the birds. Now this is a diagram of pigeon. Okay, pigeon, our regular wild pigeon which is roaming around or which is flying around our buildings. So this pigeon is considered as a typical example of Aves. Basically Aves are including all the different kind of birds. But what typical birds are considered? To study Aves, what typical birds are considered, pigeon is among them. So let us try to understand characteristics of Aves with the help of this example, that is normal pigeon, or better to say wild pigeon. So let us consider an internal structure of this pigeon and try to understand one characteristics of Aves. And after understanding this, we will shift to some different modifications of Aves. And as usual, finally we will enlist all the characteristics of Aves together. So let us begin. Now when I consider the first characteristic, is that Aves, this class include all the birds. Okay, and very important characteristic of Aves is that its 4 limbs are modified into wings. Okay, now see, whatever these legs we see in pigeon, these are basically its hind limbs. Here this is the hind limb. Okay, so there is a pair of hind limb which is used either to jump, as if you see any sparrow, they don't walk, they jump. But in case of pigeon, the hind limbs are modified to walk. The pigeon can walk. Okay, but its 4 limbs, when we consider 4 limbs are modified into wings, and all the modifications which are possessed by the pigeon particularly are the modifications for flying purpose. It is the bird which can fly. Understanding? So let us study what other flying modifications are there. So first modification is that 4 limbs are modified into wings. Now second characteristic of bird, when we consider, this characteristic is about its body shape. Now if you pay proper attention, the body shape of the pigeon is streamline shape, means it is narrow from the front, narrow from the bottom, means head narrow, tail narrow, and middle part is swollen. That shape is called as a streamlined body, and which is considered as the best for the flying purpose because it avoid resistance of the air. Okay, so streamlined body is the second important characteristic in Aves. Now let us shift to the third important characteristic. Now when we consider third important characteristic in birds, it is about its respiratory system. Now respiratory system in birds is very well modified, very well developed. Now birds respiration, obviously it is with the help of lungs, means respiration is pulmonary respiration. Okay, but along with the pulmonary respiration, one extra thing it is having. After lungs, at the end of the lungs, it is provided with air sacs. After the lungs, it is having air sacs. So air sacs are the one who store air, okay, and which help in floating the bird, as well as whenever bird or pigeon particularly take air inside, the rest of the air it breathe in extra air, and that extra air go in this air sacs. Okay, and when the extra air is go in air sac, when it it help it to float, as well as to cool its body temperature, as well as when the air, like when pigeon breathe out air, give air out, that time also this air from the air sac will come into the lungs and that will be thrown out. So this air sacs help the bird in two ways. First of all, it will help the bird to float in air, as well as it will help bird to keep its internal body temperature little bit lower. Understanding? So it is called as a double respiration. So once the air is coming in lungs, and secondly air is going in air sac. So double circulation is very helpful for the birds. Understanding? So respiration, pulmonary respiration, and characterized by double respiration. Double respiration. And double respiration is for circulating air in air sac, as well as keeping the temperature down. Understanding? Now this is about its respiratory system. Let us now consider about its digestive system. Now when we consider digestive system of a pigeon or any bird, the mouth is basically in the form of beak. So jaws are modified into beak, and beaks again are of different shape and sizes. Depending on the food of the bird, beaks are modified. For example, when we consider sunbird, which basically feed on nectar of the flowers, so its beak is very long. Okay, so it can enter, that beak enter into the flower inside easily. Okay, so here in case of pigeon, the beak is modified to pick up grains. Okay, so beak is a little sturdy and shorter. Okay, so in insect eater birds, beak is differently modified. So likewise beaks are modified according to the food of the bird. Okay, after the beak, now as it is having beak, beak is not having teeth inside, so birds are not having any teeth. So when the mouth is without teeth, it is having a special term called as edentulous. The mouth is without teeth, that's why birds are called as edentulous. Understanding? Now as birds are picking up grains directly without chewing it, it need to store it properly, because it take fast, like it take food very in hurry, very fast. So whatever grains come after the mouth, they will store in the crop. Can you see crop over here? This sac like structure is called as crop. Okay, and then the food is stored in crop, and afterward it is still not digested. Here in crop all grains are grains are collected. Now the grains are slowly moving to the gizzard. Okay, and here the grains are broken down, the grains are started digestion, and afterward it will be circulated in the digestive system. So when we consider digestive system of pigeon or any other bird, mouth is covered by beak, no teeth, so called as edentulous. Now as no teeth, grains are collected into the sac like structure called as crop. Slowly from the crop, grains will slowly move to the gizzard. In gizzard they are grinded properly, broken down properly, and then further digestion is done in the digestive system. The end of digestive system is as a cloacal aperture. As I told you, even in the reptiles, before the cloacal aperture there is a cloaca. And here it is cloaca, and here also, just like reptiles, cloaca is chambered. So it is a line which are having different chambers. So these chambers help in the conservation of water. Understanding? Whatever water birds drink, it is conserved in its cloaca. So in birds also, the cloaca is 3-chambered. Understanding? Clear about it? So respiratory system, digestive system is clear. Now let us shift to its nervous system. There are 12 pairs of cranial nerves. How many pairs? 12 pairs of cranial nerves. So 12 pairs of nerves are coming from the brain. Okay. Now, when we consider its sense organ, the sense of equilibrium, which is controlled by brain, cerebellum part of the brain, is very well developed in case of birds, because birds' whole life is depend on equilibrium. It need to float in the air or fly in the air properly, so it should be balanced. Okay, balance means equilibrium. Now next nervous part which is well developed in bird, it is eyesight. Eyesight are very well developed. Okay, when we consider eyesight of the birds, it is one special term is used for the eyesight of the bird. It is called as double accommodation. Double accommodation. Double accommodation. Now when we talk about double accommodation means at a time birds can see 2-3 things. Means it can at a time, when bird is flying, at a time it can see where the food is located, where it need to land down, and it take a view of landscaping properly. So everything eyes are doing simultaneously. So this kind of vision is called as double accommodation. Okay, getting my point? So see, 3 systems we have discussed: digestive system, respiratory system and nervous system. Now let us talk about its excretory system. Now when we consider excretory system, excretion is by uricotelic. Okay, now birds also drink very less amount of water, so uricotelic excretion is the convenient for the conservation of water. Excretion is in the form of uric acid. Now again, urinary bladder is not there in the birds. They are having kidneys, a pair of kidneys they are having, but see here we can see kidneys. So there is a pair of kidneys, but there is no urinary bladder. Understanding? Now next important system which is present in the bird is about its circulatory system. It is having all 4 chambered heart, all well developed 4 chambered heart, and heart in the bird is very well developed, a little bit extra large as compared to other animals. As compared to size of the birds, its heart is little bit larger in size, and all well developed 4 chambers, and RBCs are there to carry oxygen. Now next thing you need to remember about it is about its body temperature. Now remember, very properly remember, Aves is the first class in all the phylums or all the classification of kingdom Animalia which are homeothermic animals. Now what do you mean by homeothermic? Warm-blooded animals. So basically all birds are warm-blooded animals, and their temperature is really very high as compared to all other animals. Now simply when I consider sparrow, when I consider pigeon, their body temperature is above 40 degrees Celsius. Our body temperature, human body temperature is 37 degrees Celsius, but pigeon body temperature or sparrow body temperature, it is 40 degrees Celsius more than human being. Understanding? More than all other mammals. And for maintaining this high body temperature, birds need to eat continuously. Okay, so birds' appetite, their food consumption is more as compared to their size, just because they need to maintain their body temperature. Understanding? Getting my point? So this is about its some systems. Now let us talk about its reproductive system. Now reproductive system, again very important in birds. Now when we consider reproduction and development in birds, always and always sexes are separated, means they are unisexual, and many birds show sexual dimorphism, means but just by looking at them we can recognize whether it is male or whether it is female. For example, peacock, easily males are very beautiful with very beautiful feathers, but females are not that good looking. So likewise, male and female look different, and they show clear-cut sexual dimorphism. Many of them show clear-cut sexual dimorphism. Now next one is that their fertilization is always and always internal. Okay, fertilization takes place inside the female body. Now next thing is that their females are always oviparous, means they lay eggs. Okay, egg laying is a special characteristics of birds, correct? So they lay eggs. So birds' eggs are self-sufficient as well as they are polylacical eggs, means they are having lot of yolk, egg yolk. Okay, so when we see hen's egg, even it is having a considerably large amount of yellow part, that is egg yolk. Understanding? Then next one is that birds show sufficient amount of parental care. They teach their chicks how to fly, how to pick up food and everything. So they show considerable amount of parental care. Now these are the few characteristics of birds. Now let us see the example of some exceptional birds, okay, which cannot fly or which can even swim or something, and then we'll enlist all the characteristics of Aves. So the bird which cannot fly and which can swim properly, this is the example of it, penguin. Okay, it is its body is totally modified for the purpose of swimming rather than the purpose of flying. Understanding? Then next one is, these are the birds called as flamingo, whose body is really well modified for flying purpose and they fly a very long distance. These are the birds which are very well known for their migration. Then another example of non-flying bird. This is a picture of bird called as Cassowary. Now Cassowary is an Australian bird. It is just like ostrich and it also cannot fly. It is meant for running purpose, and it is, this bird is found in Australia, and this bird actually attack people. It is very fighting nature bird. Okay, so but here I have considered them as it is having wings, but it cannot fly, and its legs, that is its hind limbs, are very well modified for running purpose. So these are some different kind of birds. Now one point I forgot to discuss about is endoskeleton of birds. Now when we talk about the endoskeleton, that is the bony endoskeleton of birds. Now see, birds are having well developed bones, but these bones are different than any other animal's bone. Now see, birds are modified for flying purpose, so its bones are hollow. They are having some air bubbles in their bones rather than bone marrow. So their birds are having hollow bones which will help them to fly easily. Understanding? This is one more thing. One more thing is about its exoskeleton. Now feathery exoskeleton is the characteristics of bird on the basis of which they are classified into Aves. So these feathers, the presence of feathers help them in two ways. First of all, feathers help them to maintain their body temperature. They provide an insulation which will not allow body heat to go out. Understanding? As well as they help in the flying purposes. Now when we consider skin of the bird, it is also a non-glandular dry skin. Skin of the bird is provided with only one gland which is near its tail region, okay, which is near its tail region, this region, and feather in the tail region. It is called as oil gland. That gland is called as oil gland. So oil gland is present which will just secrete some oil to keep the feathers, feathers little bit oily. And any other gland, its skin do not show. So let us just enlist the characteristic so you will remember it in a better way. So the first characteristic, Aves, means the meaning of Aves is bird. Aves means bird. The body shape is boat shaped or streamline shaped, which will provide resistance in the flying. Two pairs of limbs, forelimbs and hind limbs. Forelimbs are modified into wings. Digestive system, beak is there without teeth, that's why it is called as edentulous. Then crop and gizzard are there to digest the food easily, store and digest the food. Then next characteristic is about skeleton. Just now we have discussed about it. Both endo as well as exoskeleton is there. Endoskeleton mainly formed of bones, and bones are hollow to reduce body weight, which will make it easy for flying purpose. Then next one is endoskeleton is of feathers. Okay, skin is dry and non-glandular. Only oil gland is present near the tail region. The oil gland is also called as prancing gland. Okay, at the tail region. Now next characteristic is about its respiratory system. Pulmonary respiration show specific characteristic of double respiration due to the presence of air sac. Okay, now birds are known to produce different sounds. Okay, and the sound producing organ is located in the neck region, that is pharynx and larynx region of the bird. The organ is called as syrinx. Okay, which is a sound producing organ. Now circulatory system, 4-chambered heart, 2 auricles, 2 ventricles, and size of the heart is little bit larger than any other animal as compared to its size. Now well developed nervous system with 12 cranial nerves, optic lobes for sight, and cerebellum, that is equilibrium, are very well developed. When we talk about sense organs, ears are well developed in birds, but ear ossicle means the bones which are present in the ear, there is only single ear ossicle. In human we are having three bones inside ear, but birds are having only single. Okay, then nasal cavity, a sense of smell is not very well developed in the birds. Okay, but but the opening of the nerves are in the buccal cavity. Okay, means in the mouth. Then double accommodation is the special characteristic of its eyes. Double accommodation we just discussed. Do you remember what is it? It is nothing but they can locate food as well as landmark at a time. And then they are uricotelic, pair of kidneys, urinary bladder absent. Homeothermic animal, first class to show homeothermism. Then body temperature is more than any other animal, around 40 degrees Celsius, but it changes according to bird. Okay, now next one is reproduction, unisexual, internal fertilization, oviparous, polylacethal eggs, and even self-sufficient, that is cleidoic eggs, as well as eggs are always with shell. Now examples are, there are more than 9,000 different species: owl, kite, bulbul, swan, duck. All these are examples of birds. So this is all about Aves. 12 characteristics we discussed, many new different terms we discussed. Remember those terms, try to understand them properly, and this is all about Aves. In the next video we will see the next class in the classification system, that is class mammal. So till then, goodbye, take care.